want to see you at the debate. Oh, somebody said he had a question too. I don't want to cut that brother off.
Yo, yeah, the brother's got questions, so let me just get it in and then we can get back into it again. All right, so the brother George Taylor, you say you got a question? Shoot it.
Yeah, I did a YouTube search and this site came up and it said you were going to be talking about evolution. And that's one of my favorite topics. Is that we're talking about Darwin's theory of evolution?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, good. Now, is it pro, con, what?
Some people on the panel here is pro Darwin's evolution, origins of the species, and some people are completely against it.
Okay, good. Well, for those who are pro Darwin's theory of evolution, I have a question for you. What good reason do you have to believe that genetic mutations down at a nucleotide level could accumulate hierarchically?
Okay, that's a good question.
No, that's not evolution he's talking about. What are you talking about? Explain that.
The current theory of evolution is referred to as the neo-Darwinian synthesis. It's much more than Charles Darwin advocated, but boiled down, it goes something like this. Over millions of years, random mutations accumulated hierarchically. And as they accumulated in long sequences in the DNA, those sequences that produced new functionality with an increase of fitness survived incrementally. Now, what I'm asking is, what observation in science would lead somebody to believe that the random accrual of mutations at a nucleotide level in DNA could produce a hierarchy of functional information?
Yeah, but that's not evolution. You just made that up. Nowhere it states
no,
that.
That is exactly that. I can read it to you. I can go to the University of Berkeley.
Listen, go get that. Go get that and read that, and then we'll get back to that.
Are you familiar with natural selection?
Yes, that's what Darwin proposed. He proposed natural selection.
Okay, good. Well, the current prevailing thesis in biology is that over millions of years, random mutations occurred. They accumulated functional information in the DNA.
Why did they occur? Why did they occur?
I am not advocating for or against. I'm simply telling you what the current theory. Can I answer you without being interrupted? I didn't interrupt you.
Yeah, you certainly did.
The question.
Hold on, you certainly did.
You did. May I answer?
Yes.
Okay. The current theory, the basic concept, is that random mutations accumulated to produce what are called polymers, or strings of nucleotides. Those strings of nucleotides at a DNA level provided an increase of functionality to organisms, and that increase in functionality, where it would increase fitness, and due to the fitness, it would survive. And over long periods of time, a universal common ancestry resulted. Now, that is exactly what the theory of evolution presents. Now, I'm not somebody who happens to agree with that.
But what do you agree with? Let me hear what you agree with.
I believe that the best explanation for the origin of complex design would be either an agent or an intelligence, rather than randomness accounting for the accumulation of functional information in DNA.
Okay, so basically, let me ask you this: are you an intelligent designer?
Well, I presuppose.
You do. So watch this. Go ahead. I heard you. You said you presuppose.
I'll wait till you're done.
Yes, you said you presuppose, right? So you're agreeing with that, right?
Are you done?
No, I'm not done. I'm saying you answered the question that yes, you are. That's all I need is straight answers from you.
Okay. Well, look, I'll be glad to carry on an intelligent conversation with you, but if you're going to persist...
Hold on. We are holding an intelligent conversation.
Okay. Real Black, I waited till you were done. You're now interrupting me.
All right, go ahead.
I'll be glad to carry an intelligent converson with you.
But
if you persist in interrupting me, I will no longer respond to you.
Well, you can let the doorknob hit you with a good little split you if that's how you feel.
Okay, I'm being very polite to you.
We just having fun. Just because I cut you off a little bit ain't nothing. Calm down with it. Yes or no? Are you intelligent designer?
I'm perfectly calm.
Go
Now,
ahead. And I'm
when I was trying to explain to you my position, you
yes,
cut
go
me
ahead.
off.
I know. Go ahead. I
Okay.
did. I did it on
Good,
purpose.
good.
But go ahead.
Now, I am an advocate of intelligent design, but I am not merely an advocate of intelligent design. I presume that the Christian God exists as he is defined and described in the Bible. But I'm not advocating that you accept that. The question that I have is for those in here that believe in Darwin's theory of evolution. What good reason do you have to believe that random mutations can produce an ever-increasing hierarchy of genetic information?
Can you explain what you mean by random, George?
Okay. Scientists in the field of biology.
No, sorry. Can you explain? Sorry. Can you explain and not tell me what they say, but you're talking? Can you tell me?
I'm trying to explain to you what it is, how it is described. Random would be that the accumulation of the arrangement of mutations within the DNA code does not have an overall directive process. That each individual mutation at a nucleotide level might have a directed cause, but collectively they do not have a directive cause. So in other words, the arrangement of mutations that would have to accumulate sequentially and in line in the DNA sequence, the arrangement is a result of random processes, even though the individual mutations would have a directed cause.
Okay, so in relation to your intelligent designer, how would you observe that to be different? Because you're using the word random, and then if you want to bring intelligent designer as a human being, how do you see intelligence? Do you understand? As in, when the humans observing this thing,
I didn't advocate it. I just
you
let
don't
you know
advocate.
what my position. No, I'm not.
Okay, hold on.
Okay, I hear you.
1 second. Let's get the order back into the show. I do apologize everybody out there who's been viewing. Can everybody just now mute their mics, keep their mics actually muted? Because our brother Young Pharaoh, he's actually got a show coming on a little bit later on the radio, and I do know that he has to be off very soon. So we could kind of carry this on off air or carry this on a little bit later. But I just want to make sure that Young Pharaoh and Ankh has
Keep this one.
peace.
Guidance.
Salam, brother.
Shalom. All right, you know what I'm going to do? Let's keep this going, but in the background, I'm going to set up a new link. And Uncle Kenk, I would love for you to get it in with this brother called George. All right, George, can you explain horizontal gene transfer for us?
That ain't what he's trying to explain. He's trying to explain how bananas.
Oh, that's it. How do bananas share 50%?
Yeah.
Horizontal gene transfer occurs in certain organisms, microorganisms. It can occur in plants where certain genomic sequences find their way that didn't originate in another organism, such as a microorganism or a plant. Okay. Now, before I go on, I'd just like to know with the people that I'm talking to what their basic assumptions are. I've already laid out what my basic assumptions are. Now, Real Black, are you an atheist, a theist?
Yes, absolutely. I'm a real black atheist.
Okay, good. I think that's more of a central issue than evolution. So I'd like to ask you a question. Before we go on, how do you define the term atheism? Do you define it as the proposition that there is no God, or do you define atheism as merely the absence of a positive belief in God due to insufficient reasons?
I define it as going against any deity you and your people propose to my people. Thus you get the real black atheist.
Okay. Do you assert that there is no God, or do you merely have a lack of belief?
No, I assert that white people have lied to African people to kidnap them, right, to rob them of their culture, and I understand that African people never had a God prior to the Germanic tribes coming in with that foolery. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Because we all that, hold on, I am the A side. And so your whole notion of any God means absolutely nothing to me. I don't even know what you're talking about when you say God.
Are you making, in your atheism, are you claiming that there is no God, or that you merely do not believe positively that there is a God.
In my real black atheism, I'm saying that white people lied. That it does that the word God is a word made up by human beings, particularly Germanic tribes, Indo-European, North.
You're not okay, real black. You're not answering my question.
Yes.
I understand that you believe that white people have lied, but that doesn't answer my question.
I know.
Okay, do you believe that a God exists, or do you believe that a God does not exist?
I am telling you that when white people open their mouth and say the word God, they're merely talking about a cultural expression.
Well, I'm not talking to
Let
a
me
white
finish.
person right
I didn't
now.
cut you off. I didn't cut you
Okay,
off.
go ahead.
Remember, we're not cutting each other off. We're gonna have proper white boy dialect going on here. That's what you want to have, right? So no cutting off. What I'm telling you is that human beings, particularly white people, come up with the idea of God in English. And I'm telling you that that idea and concept exists amongst you and your Christianity, or you and your Judaism, and you and your Islam, has no effect on African people. And for the record, here's the direct answer to your question. I am anti-theos, for sure, meaning I'm against the state-sponsored religion, which would be Christianity, Islam, and Judaism. That is the oldest understanding of what atheos is. Those who go against, right, theos. So there you have it.
Okay. In your view, does a God exist?
I am telling you, it exists to white people. It does not exist in the African paradigm.
Okay, good. In your worldview, how did you come to the conclusion that there is no God?
Because it would separate myself. If it was a God, then it would be a God up there and us down here, which would officially separate whatever it is from us. That's not African thought at all. Hey,
Okay,
Kalam,
you haven't answered my question.
You need to be having this. You still got that rolling, right, Kalam?
Yes.
I did ask you a question. I said that God would propose.
You did respond. You did respond to my question.
Okay, George, 1 second, 1 minute. Okay, do you know what I'm going to do right now? I'm actually going to separate this show. There is a separate show that has been created, and it's actually called Real Black Atheist versus White Theist on Evolution and God. Okay?
Now, wait a minute. What makes you think I'm white?
Oh. Sound like it. Your picture's white.
No, that's a character from a movie. That's not my face. So why do you think? Oh, so do all white people talk like this?
No, it's George is not based upon your voice. It's based on your icon.
Titan, I'm teasing you. I'm teasing you, Titan.
Okay. All right. So now this is what I'm gonna do. I'm actually gonna start. I'm gonna start. I'm going to start a new show, and I'm going to invite all the brothers who are here right now.
Okay, can you post the link in the side chat?
Definitely, I'm going to post the link in the side chat for everybody. And everybody who's watching the live stream right now, you will see it hopefully within the next 2 minutes. Go ahead.
Is he a white boy or not? Now, my ears don't lie to me, man.
No, you know what we're going to do? We're going to find out if he's a white boy on the new show. We're going to reintroduce the old that we've been discussing. Because all this.
Come on, George, tell the truth, man. You sound like a white boy. Tell the truth.
All this section is going to be chopped off from Young Pharaoh's one, so we're going to create a new show.
Hold on a second. What do you mean tell the truth? What are you saying?
I'm asking you, are you
live, and we're going to have this discussion with George versus Uncle Keck and the rest of the Amon-Ra squad, rest of Team Osiris, rest of everybody who's actually joined in from the previous panel link. So George, can you just greet the community and let them know who you are?
Well, my screen name is George Taylor, character from the movie Planet of the Apes. I'm a theist. I'm a Christian, and one of my hobbies is to dialogue and debate with atheists.
Excellent. Could you let our community know how you was actually able to find this show today, basically?
I simply Googled live chats on the air, and this came up under the listing.
Okay, excellent. I love that. you know what? Hopefully, more people like yourself and others will just simply type that in, and we pop up, and we can have these great discussions with various different people from various different communities. It's great that all of us could come together, share ideas, and debate our disagreements, and come to a consensus of what is true and what is false. So this is perfect right now. So I'm going to open it up for either one of you to actually just state what topic we're going to be discussing, and what is your stance? What is your stance on that topic?
Well, watch this, George. I'm simply saying that why is it the B-side proclaims that there is a God and think that indigenous people with indigenous thoughts have to even accept that? How arrogant are you as a Christian? Middle Eastern story, right? Middle Eastern Hebraic story translated into the Greek. How arrogant are you to proclaim to anybody that there's a God based off of your Indo-European, Middle Eastern perspective? How dare you? What makes you so confident that the Hebrew God is a God and is a God of African people? I see you, George.
Okay. I didn't assert to you that the Christian God exists. I simply told you that I do presume that. Now, my opening question to you was, you had told me that you were an atheist. Now, atheism can either be defined as the denial of the existence of God, or, as some internet atheists do, that it is a lack of belief or a positive affirmation in the existence of God. Now, you brought up earlier before the show started what the origin of the idea of atheism was that you thought. Now, there is something in philosophy called the genetic fallacy, that if you cite the alleged origin, that automatically negates the idea itself. Well, that's not the case. That would be a genetic fallacy. So I just would like to repeat my initial question again. Is your atheism the denial that there is a God, or is your atheism defined as merely the lack of a positive belief in God?
And I'm saying I don't accept any of those statements, because we're the A side, and I propose to you what was it that caused the cosmos. You don't propose to me. And like I said, atheists or atheos is anti-theos, those who go against the state-sponsored religion, regardless of what it ended up meaning. I'm saying that I'm against the state-sponsored religion, which is Christianity, Islam, and Judaism, proposing anything to me. That's what I'm saying, and you can't force me to say anything that's not even relevant, because God is not relevant to African people, specifically in this conversation, since we are the A side. Now, if you ask me what it is that I understand, I could tell you, George, because it's definitely not God. That's why I say you're arrogant.
Okay.
Yes.
I still haven't gotten an answer to the question, does God exist? I understand that you have claimed... May I finish, please?
Yes,
I'd love to finish with that.
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay, I appreciate your response. You've repeated several times what you think the origin of the idea of God is. I'm not asking you what your view is on the origin of the idea of God, because it might be the case that all of the ideas about God that mankind has are false, but that would not logically necessitate that there is no God. So I'm asking you again, is it your position that there is no God?
I am saying that prior to Indo-Europeans invading Africa, the Africans wouldn't have known what the hell you was talking about. And I'm saying I have conditioned myself to the point where I don't know what the hell you're talking about. And you keep trying to make me think about a God or even agree. I couldn't tell you, because you would have to explain to me what you mean when you say God. What are you talking about, George? Because I don't, no comprendo, amigo. I don't know what you're talking about, George. I am the A side. I'm here 185,000 years before you mutated into pale skin. Ideas, concepts prior to you, pre you. So what are you talking about, George?
Okay. You still have not.
I thought I did, George.
Okay, are you done?
Yes.
Okay. I'd like the audience to note that although he responded quite courteously, he keeps on repeating what he thinks is the origin of the idea of God. That's not the question I'm asking you. I'm not asking you where did the idea of God come from. All right. Now, the famous philosopher, atheist philosopher Kai Nielsen, who wrote the atheist entry in the Encyclopedia Britannica, said, all of the reasons for God may fail, but it still might be the case that a God exists. Now, I'm just asking you a simple question. Does God exist? I'm not asking you what is the origin of the idea of God, and I will give you a operational definition of God. Yes. God would be defined as, can I finish, please? I'll be done momentarily.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, good. God would be defined as a non-material or immaterial mind that is the origin of all that exists external to himself. Okay, so I've given you a basic definition of God.
No, that don't exist. From an African perspective, no. Absolutely not.
Okay. Okay, good. Can you please tell me how you know that no such entity or being, such as the God I have given a definition, does not exist?
Because from an African perspective, there would be no being, no material mind that would exist outside of nature and outside of the African. That's why.
Okay, can I ask you this? You're using an argument from induction based upon things that you observe, and therefore you're making a declaration of how things operate outside of your powers of observation. Now, can you please tell us, how do you know what can or cannot happen outside your powers of observation?
Well, what I can tell you is that there is no power outside of myself. That is reality. There is nothing that exists outside of ourselves, and science absolutely tells us that, and you probably need to start defining some of the words you're using. We're calling it trigology at this particular juncture.
Okay, is it your position that all rational beliefs about the world must be determined scientifically?
No, I'm saying this is the African Kemetic idea that the only way to understand the world is to observe the world, which would later on trickle down and began modern science. That we observe the natural world we live in, and based off our observations, we will come to our conclusions. And based off of more information coming, we will change our conclusions. Our ideas will be testable for understanding, plain and simple. Go ahead. You got one more question.
What percentage of reality do you observe?
Well, we know that dark matter makes up about 75% dark energy. So really what you don't see as much. We know the cosmos is basically, I'm thinking the numbers is, you can help me out with this, Nahisi. I'm thinking dark matter makes up about 75% dark energy.
96%, bro.
What is it?
96%.
All
they say 96%.
Yeah, between dark. Okay.
I didn't ask you what are the prevailing cosmological theories. I didn't ask you that. My question is to you. What percentage of everything that exists do you personally observe?
I just gave you material world, the material things that you can see. It's only about 5 to 10%. If you're saying it's 96 altogether, then it's just 4%. Right, come on, man. You're not dumb. You're kind of smart there.
I don't think you're understanding my question.
I'm saying listen, the observable universe, it's only about 6%. If dark energy and dark matter makes up the majority of it, you can't see it. You can only see what forces it play on the material world, bro. Come on, yeah. You're not crazy. Come on.
Okay. Good.
Come on,
Can
George.
You tell me?
Come on, George.
Are you done?
Almost. Go ahead, George.
Okay, thank you. Can you tell me how you know how things operate outside your ability to observe them?
What I'm saying is there is no separation. And so in ancient African Kemetic continental thought, right, that we understand, if we understand how the human body works, we can get a working knowledge of how the cosmos works. That concept is called as above, so below. Absolutely. So learn how the body works, and you'll find out how it's called the macro verse and the micro verse.
Okay, you didn't answer my question.
I just did. Learn your body. Learn how your body functions, and you can learn how the cosmos function. I just did.
I didn't interrupt you.
You just did.
No, I didn't.
You did.
Okay, one second. Hold on 1 second, George, before we continue. Please, can I get everybody just to mute their mics real swiftly? And before, George, you ask any further questions, I would just like to open this up to the rest of our panel members to quickly have their say, and then we're going to go back in between George and Uncle Keck again.
Can George explain his position, though, as a Christian? Jesus Christ fearing man? 1 second.
You're going to have your whole round of actually asking him questions, but I just want to open this up real quickly so everybody else can feel part of the conversation as well. As it stands, we've got Adebisi. I believe it was you up next, and then Issa. If anybody else would like to have their say, please let me know right now. Unmute your mics and let me know you want to have something to say.
Yeah.
Okay. Kuf. Oh, Brother Ahut. And anybody else? That's it.
I have enough.
And Brother Nahisi. Okay, so we're going to do those questions real quickly. And my YouTube audience as well, I'm going to actually peep your comments real quickly, and then I'm going to bring it into this dialogue. So, Adebisi, the floor is yours. Okay, the floor, your mic seems as though it's not operational. Okay, so whilst we wait for you, Adebisi, nope, we can't hear you. Whilst we wait, still can't hear you. Whilst we wait for you, Adebisi, try to sort out your mic. We can't hear you. I can see your lips moving, but we can't hear you. I'm going to go straight to Akut.
Right, well, basically, George, I wanted to ask you, you was asking Ankh, does he accept that God exists or not? And he was trying to tell you what he thought on the matter, but what I'm going to ask you is, do you accept that as a concept? It don't even apply for you to even ask it. It's totally foreign. Do you accept that it's totally illogical to ask it?
I didn't understand your question. Can you clarify it?
Basically, I said, do you accept that, or do you understand or comprehend that it's totally illogical to even ask him that question? It doesn't fit. It's a foreign concept. That is totally foreign. So for you to ask someone who has their own concepts whether something exists that comes much later, it's kind of illogical. It don't make no sense.
Okay, I understand where you're coming from. What you're talking about is technically called theological non-cognitivism or atheism. Now, that's not a problem in this case because I defined God for Real Black, right? I did not leave God undefined. I put God in this case.
Do you understand that the concept you're even talking about is that's totally... That's what I'm trying to say.
Hold on, my brother Akut. We have to respect our guests and keep your mics muted. This is part of the rules. Regardless, please keep your mics muted and let him have his say, and then afterwards you can, have your say. Okay, go ahead, George.
Okay. Well, the issue that he brought up really is not relevant because I gave a very clear and simple definition of God, and I'll repeat that for the audience. God, in this case, would be defined as an eternal, non-contingent being or entity that possesses intelligence and consciousness and accounts for why anything exists and why anything exists at all. So I've clearly defined the term so the word God is actually meaningful. So theological non-cognitivism or atheism would not apply in this case. Now, I've asked Real Black several times, and I've yet to get a straight answer. Does a God exist or not exist as I have given in the definition?
I clearly told you that concept is a foreign concept to the African, that some type of material force outside of Africa or outside of ourselves, right? It's not an African idea nor concept. Being as though I am the A side that predates anything you're talking about, I'm saying you can't fit me into your white boy paradigm. I don't argue from the position of the B side. I am the A side. So let me ask you a question, right? How is it that you suppose that Christianity has any effect on those who do not even care to know about it?
Okay, I'll be glad to address that question. But I'm still waiting for an answer to my question. Does a God exist or not exist?
Give me the definition again, because I told you no. Based off your definition, no.
Okay, good. That's a clear answer. Now, can you tell me, how did you arrive at the conclusion that no God exists?
Because the God that you explained could not exist based off of the fact that it is separate from everything else. It is separate from nature. It exists outside of nature. And I'm saying that everything is everything and nothing exists outside of nature. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, good. Can you tell us, how do you know that for anything to exist, it must be contiguous to the environment of reality?
I can't hear you.
Hey, could you hear me?
I can hear you sound clear.
Okay. Oh,
Hey,
so,
okay. You hear me?
Okay.
Yeah, we're going to get into the evolution.
Okay,
Go
you
ahead.
made the claim. You made the claim that no God exists because nothing
Based
can.
off your definition. Based off your
Okay.
definition. Mhm.
Can I finish without being interrupted?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, good. You made the claim that no God can exist because such a God, under the definition I gave, would be independent of material existence. But you
Right.
didn't demonstrate how that you know that nothing can exist independently of the material universe.
Because my ancestors said it, and that is enough for me. Just
Okay,
like
are your ancestors omniscient and infallible?
no, just like your God is not omniscient and infallible.
Okay,
How
I
about
made
that?
no such claims to you.
You did. You said you was an intelligent designer.
Now, if you stated that your ancestors are not omniscient and infallible, and you got this information that no God can exist independent of the material universe, how do you know that your ancestors are correct?
Because modern science details this in nauseam. That's why.
Okay, well, modern science can only deal with physicality. It cannot deal with things that may exist that are non-physical. Science is only limited. Science is only one way to know things. Now, if you want to argue that science is the only way to know things, I would enjoy you to do so. So do you agree with me? Okay, do you agree with me that if you claim that you know there's no God, that you have a burden to tell us how you know this?
And I just explained to you based off the definition that you gave, and you can do it again, right? From an African perspective that's been around 185,000 years prior to the pale gene coming into effect. That's what I'm tell you. And I'm absolutely trying to show you that the argument that you're using, you probably need to use it on yourself.
Okay, what you said does not matter, and here's why. The origin of an idea does not make that idea necessarily false. Now, you're claiming that you don't believe of it because where the idea came from. That is called the genetic fallacy in philosophy.
No, I'm not using it. I'm not using
Okay.
it.
Do you know what the genetic fallacy is?
I absolutely understand what the genetic fallacy is. What I'm trying to tell you that science. Tell me what other way is it for you to observe the natural world, George? Since you seem to have another way of doing it, what is your way? Since you put me on 100,000 questions, let me ask you a question. What is the other way to observe nature besides observing nature? I'm listening. It's a question, George.
I hear crickets. Okay,
no,
Okay.
My microphone was muted. It was muted because you were interrupting me. Okay? Now, making observations through our senses is one way of knowing things about reality. Now, if you make that our five senses is the only way of knowing things, you're going to be in deep trouble.
I agree, George.
Now, are you open to the idea that knowledge is possible in addition to our five senses?
Science does not use the five senses, George. That's what I'm trying to show you. Senses can absolutely be tricked, George.
Okay, good. If our senses could be tricked,
Yeah.
you have to assume that your senses are operating correctly in order to determine that they're tricked.
No, not at all, George. I'm trying to say that some things you just can't see, George. Some things you just can't see. Some things you just can't touch. But that does not mean it's not there. Like, for instance, George, your senses, right, does not detect dark matter or dark energy. Absolutely not. You can't see it. You can't touch it. You can't smell it.
I don't mean, listen, Real Black, I don't mean to be rude, but you simply do not know what you're talking about.
Being that.
Now, when you say...
You don't get that, George?
Okay, listen, I'm trying to carry on a civil conversation.
No, you're carrying on your form of civil conversation, George.
Okay, Real Black, you know, I'm accustomed to having civil...
Okay, hold on 1 second, my brother. 1 second, my nephew. Give me 1 second. Here we go. You know what? There's a lot of people who are tuned in right now, and I want to remain to keep it very cordial between everybody that is involved right now. And I still want to open up for more people to join the conversation. So what I'm going to do is actually just, please, everybody who's tuned in right now, hit the share button, hit the share button, hit share on your Facebook, share on your Google, share on your Twitter, and hopefully everybody will come in and view this, because this is going to be a very interesting dialogue. We don't have plenty of these dialogues, with inside of the American community on Talk with the Titans. We definitely do a lot of this type of debates with different people from various backgrounds and various different ideologies on our Speakers Corner playlist on Titans TV. So if you haven't already subscribed to Titans TV, please hit the subscribe button down below. Subscribe to us. And catch up with the previous Speakers Corners debates with people of different ideologies, atheists, chemists, Christians, Muslims, Jews, Sikhs, etc. Get familiar with what's going on. And also as well, please get familiar with our Talk with the Titans show. We have different people from within inside of our community. Not too long ago we had Ifa practitioners, a Babalawo and a Petebi, come in. This is the West African Yoruba spiritual system, come in and give us a wonderful presentation on the West African spiritual system. We've had ISUPK. I was sitting with Tazariak from the ISUPK. This is the Hebrew Israelites, a few days ago, actually, which was perfect. And of course, I've had my brother Ankh. I was with brother Ankh in the USA not too long ago as well. On 125th, he was getting it in with the Hebrew Israelites as well. So we have people from different ideologies coming together to share their worldview, share their experiences, and share the information that they have. And if there is any points of contentions, we do definitely have a dialogue and debate these contentions. So please check out the playlists as well. And as well, please support all of our affiliate groups such as Amun-Ra Squad, the Real Black Atheist YouTube as well, the Real Black Atheist Library, the Amun-Ra Squad group on Facebook, Team Osiris YouTube station, San Neta as well, Black News 102. The list literally goes on. Virtue TV, the list. What else? Black Eyes TV as well. The list literally continues. So please support all of our brothers and sisters within the community, and we can get it in with each other. Now I know we've got a few people in here who haven't as of yet had their say, and if you're in the YouTube, please leave your comments, tag my name in it. I'm going to go back and read your comments and actually present it within inside the discussion today if you would like to have your say. All right, so Adebisi, I'm going to go straight to you first and foremost, then I'm going to open it up to Konsu, then Wujawu. So Adebisi, what would you like to say?
You forgot about me, bro.
I got you. I see you.
Peace and Black African Power. Can you hear me?
Peace. We can hear you now.
Yes, sir. George, I remember you saying something about random information, how cells can come together and make a intelligent design through random information. But what I wanted to convey is every cell has information. So there's no such thing as cells just having random information. Every cell has information. So when they come together, they can communicate. They can learn to communicate and create an intelligent design, which will be human, whatever. The whole Darwin theory of evolution, where we descended from monkeys or ancestors. Darwin himself never said that. I don't know where this I don't know where this picked up from, but Darwin himself never really said that. He says we have a common ancestor, which literally means we just have percentages of the same DNA, just like broccoli, just like anything else on the planet. We just have percentages of the same DNA. He found that first probably inside of monkeys before he found it in broccoli. So that's what was said first. I just don't know. The whole theist thing, I really would like theists to explain just the absence of their father on the whole. Like we as mere humans have more morals, more morale than your so-called God in heaven. Things that he can do to his kids, we as humans can't fathom doing these things. So what makes us so much better than your God? I'm done. Thank you. Check out the Stone on Rebellion 2016.com.
I don't think you understood my position. I didn't say that the information within the DNA code was random. What I was referring to is the modern theory of evolution and how the origin of the species arised over time. I was referring to the mechanism of natural selection. Under the theory of natural selection, random mutations accumulated incrementally and hierarchically. Those sequences that accumulated that had functionality and an increase of fitness survived. Now, I wasn't advocating that that actually is the case. I was merely accurately describing what is representative of the modern theory of evolution. So I did not affirm that the genetic information within the DNA code of you and me and bananas or apples is itself random. I never said such a thing. My point is this: for those of you out there who believe in the general theory of evolution, you have to believe that over millions and millions of years, very complex genetic information developed in a hierarchical fashion. Now, the mutations that we do observe in laboratories do not produce long strings of complex functional information. Most mutations that we do observe are bad or deleterious. Of those mutations, a minority of them may be beneficial, but beneficial mutation does not designate that there is an increase of complex genetic information. So this is a very severe fundamental problem within the general theory of evolution. It is assumed to have happened, and it would be necessary to happen in order for there to be what they call a universal common ancestry, or evolving from all life forms. So that was my opening question. What good reason do we have to believe that random mutations will accumulate to produce complex information over a long period of time when it is not observed?
Okay,
yeah,
thank
go
you.
Get your
Thank
source
you,
for that, though, bro. Todd, you saying that? Present your source right now.
Okay, thank you. So let's quickly.
We need to present a source.
I know. So George, you've been requested to present a source. You know what? You have time to search your library or any types of encyclopedia or reference book, textbook that you have available with you. But I'm going to keep it moving on to anybody else who's got comments and questions. We have a plethora of questions literally flooding in from the YouTube. Ruben, I see you. I'm going to get your question answered very shortly. But Konsu, if you're there, Konsu, if you're there and you would like to ask a question or make a comment, please do it now. If not, Kufu, Team Osiris as well. You know what? The mic, your floor is open to you. Okay?
Yes, I'm here.
Go ahead, Konsu.
Yes. I do have a question. When it comes to intelligent design, what is the intelligence?
What's your question?
What in intelligent design, what is the intelligence?
Intelligent design advocates don't specify the nature or identity of the intelligence. What they do is make observations of phenomena. and they decide whether the phenomenon that we observed are best explained either by design, necessity, or chance. We all do this. For example, if you hear a knock on your door, you will infer either that knock is either from an agent or an intelligence, namely probably a human, or you might infer that it is the wind blowing and a tree branch hitting on the side of your house. So people who advocate the concept of intelligent design, that the complex genetic information that resides in all the genomes of the animal kingdom, in terms of their origin, has its cause or root in some intelligence. But intelligent design theory advocates do not advocate any particular identity or persona of the agent or intelligence that would be at the root of complex genetic information.
I'm not asking about irreducible complexity.
That's right.
Nor am I talking about neo-creationism.
That's right.
I asked you a direct question. I asked you, what is the intelligence if you are going to use a noun and an adjective? You said an intelligent design. It is being used as something that describes something. So that would be a person, place, or a thing. Is the intelligence a person, place, or a thing within the syntax structure or grammar that you are using to claim? Is it a person, place, or thing? I'm not talking about irreducible complexity, and I'm not talking about neo-creationism. I am talking simply, what is the intelligent design? Because what the intelligence must be is conducive to a person, place, or thing. Yep. Because it's being used as an adjective. So I'm asking you, what is the intelligence?
Well, as I explained before, the identity or persona or personal attributes that an intelligent agent possesses is not something that is advocated or affirmed by those who advocate intelligent design. Intelligent design is the idea that certain features or phenomenon that we observe in our world around us are best explained as having their origin in some type of intelligence as opposed to mere physical necessity or chance. So if you keep on asking, what is the persona or personal attributes, that is not something that people who advocate intelligent design detail. And it's outside of the scope of the discussion when it comes to intelligent design.
Okay, thank you. Oh, sorry, 1 second.
Hold on 1 second, Kalan.
Okay, go on, Consul, go on.
I just want to be respectful and let you know that I did not only distinguish persona. I said geographical location or an unobservable object, which would be called a thing. So I did not only regulate it to a persona. I understand the neo-creationist claim that you just gave. However, I will make note and be respectful of this platform that that particular claim had gone under scrutiny from a United States court of law, which had prohibited the usage of that claim to be non-scientific, yet have religious overtone. So I'm not saying you're doing it, but I'm making you aware that Michael Behe was brought up on charges for doing it.
Yeah.
And I digress.
Just stop you right there. Okay.
I yield the floor.
Okay, good. And what I'm about to say to you is in all due respect, right? But what you just said is a misrepresentation of the facts. You're referring to the Kitzmiller versus Dover case in Pennsylvania under Judge Jones. Is that correct?
Yes, that is.
Okay, good. Could you tell me, and I'm going to demonstrate here right now, that how do you say your name?
Consul.
Okay, Consul. I'm going to demonstrate to everybody right here that he doesn't know what he's talking about. Now, you said Michael Behe was brought up on charges?
Say that again.
You said Michael Behe was brought up on charges?
Yes.
Okay, could you give me more details on that?
Well, what Michael Behe did.
By the way, you need to be. Let me just say one more thing. You need to be very carefully. I'm going to be done in 10 seconds. I'm going to be done in a second. Let me just
George, but
say
you
one more
started
thing.
producing some type of. I asked you for your source, and you haven't done it, and now you're asking people for a source.
Okay, I'm going to
You're
turn
asking
the
us to be
microphone.
polite when you're full of a bunch of bullshit right there. Get out of here with that crack of bullshit, bro. I asked you
Okay,
for a
there's
source,
no
but
need
you
for you
never
to be
presented. You misrepresented natural selection. You're trying to hit us with the calm shit. That's a bunch of bullshit, George. Now cut the intellectual bullshit. Cut the bullshit, man. Don't ask him before a source until you have presented a source. You have not presented one source. You have misrepresented what natural selection is. Cut the crap, man.
Okay, I'm just going to remind our panelist members.
Come on, Kalam. He refused to give his sources, and now he's questioning people like he's some kind of motherfucking lawyer. That's a bunch, and we got to
Okay,
be.
I have his microphone turned off. I can't hear him.
Okay, good. Turn that shit off. Good.
Okay.
Now,
Anke,
can you?
It's that calm bullshit I can't take. It's that foolery.
Anke, just the swearing, just the profanity, just.
Okay, but Kalam, do you not see the?
I have his microphone turned off.
I see it. I see it.
No, turn your mic off.
I see it.
The doorknob hit you with your
Okay,
fake
so Kansu, I am very familiar with the Kitzmiller versus Dover case, so I just want to let you know, and I'm going to be done in 5 seconds. I am very familiar with the details of the case, so you need to be careful what you say about Michael Behe vis-a-vis the Kitzmiller. So Michael Behe was brought up on charges?
What I attempted to say is that Michael Behe was subsequently going to be brought up on charges. And what happened was his book, entitled in reference to the panda, was thrown out as circumstantial.
Okay, Michael Behe. Michael Behe.
Hold on. George.
I'm gonna hold on.
One second, Konsu. George, I'm going to ask you to please mute your mic. Your mic should be muted at all times. Respect the other person's cipher. You'll be asked or introduced to speak after he is finished, but not before. Okay? Thank you. Go ahead, Konsu.
Yeah, what I'm going to say is we're only having a discussion here, so I'm only paraphrasing. And when I asked you a direct question, you gave me an indirect answer. And because you did that, I had to give you a working illustration of how irreducible complexity, how intelligent design, and the entire matrix was brought under legal fire because of what you just did. See, I asked you a direct question, but you gave me a true Scotsman fallacy. That you are the true Scotsman, and you are the spokesman for the term or terminology intelligence and design, that you so eloquently happen to put them two together. You put intelligent and design together and claimed it as something that describes something. So it's going to either be a person, place, or thing, George. So if you're going to use it in that light, then I'm going to bring light to where that term came from, because we have a panel and we have a group of listeners that are unaware of where that terminology came from. You just didn't synthesize intelligent or design, George. Groups of people did before you, George. So because they did, we have to have integrity as to where the root of the terminology came from. All terminologies have definitions, George. That's why it's called linguistics.
He made it up. He made it up. He made it up. Cool. He made it up, bro. The natural selection is the proper definition. He made that shit up.
Okay. I yield the floor. Because see, I'm not gonna play dumb with you, George.
Are you done?
I'm not gonna play dumb with you.
George, keep your mic muted until the brothers is finished.
Because that was offensive. What you did, you tried to box me in and try to say that I'm committing slander to somebody you never met in your life. And I'm not going to allow you to do that, George. You came on this platform, on a live platform, and you're trying to do what everyone in intelligent design has done since 1974. And that is, you try to come with a neo-creationist claim and not being held to the definitive terminology that all intelligent designers, along with neo-creationists, use. You're using the same lingo, same language, same precepts, same constructs, and then you're going to tell me that it's a brand new concept of modern discovery. No, it is not. That same claim that you're talking about has been around since 1974. And Michael Behe is one of the proponents that taught you and other neo-creationists how to modify the same intelligent design claim. Now, if we start going syntax for syntax and bar for bar, George, it's going to walk like a duck, it's going to act like a duck, and it's going to be a duck. So we don't have to play those games. If you want to support intelligent design, by all means. But when I ask you who the intelligence is, just say it's God and get it over with. Because there's nothing wrong with your claim, but stick to it. Because you know the intelligence behind the designer is God. And you know that's what you're trying to claim. But you're trying to use science and the neo-creationist syntax to sell it. And that's why people like you went to jail. Because you're trying to sell religion in the form of a quasi-scientific claim. And you know that's against the law. I didn't say it, the courts did. So argue with the courts, George. Don't argue with me.
Okay. I see you, George, but wait for a little bit longer. And I will.
I yield the floor, Kalam.
Okay.
But Kalam, can we just get the definition? Can somebody read the definition of what natural selection is?
George, keep your mic muted. I see you. I'm going to come to you very shortly. We're going to go into the working definition of natural selection a little bit later. Just hold up. We're going to go into that. I want to open up the floor to everybody else who hasn't as of yet had their word, haven't spoken as of yet. So if anybody here who hasn't actually spoken would like to say something, Isa, I see you. Please go ahead. The floor is yours.
Okay. George, can you hear me clearly?
Yeah, he can hear you, but he has to stay muted until I introduce him.
What I want to ask you, George, is simply this: do you agree or not agree that the background and premise behind your questioning Brother Ankh about God is totally anti-black, and that you are coming with a concept of Jesus Christ, which to Black Americans, Black Caribbeans, Black British, etc., is ultimately saying you're coming with the concept of a devil, a concept of barbarism and savagery that you seem to believe in and want to hold on to, and then ask us if we believe and accept that concept. Is that the case or not, George?
Okay. One second.
Appreciate that, Issa. Well spoken, man. Appreciate that.
Okay, so now everybody can just mute their mics, and I'm going to get George to please answer that question specifically, and then I'm going to open it up again to possibly have Ujau or somebody else who hasn't had their say. So go ahead, George, the floor is yours.
Okay, well, that was just absurd and ridiculous. I argued for no specific deity or God. I did not argue for any particular ethnic version whatsoever. I made no discussion of that. I was simply asked what my overall belief system was early in the conversation, but I did not argue for that position, nor did I ask anybody to accept that. So what you just said on the microphone was entirely fallacious. I mentioned nothing about the existence of God, other than I happen to believe in God. I did not discuss any personas of God. I made no reference to ethnicities or skin colors. So I'll just wrap up in regards to you saying what you just said was absolutely absurd. Now on to Kansu. Kansu.
Before you go on, before you go on to Kansu, before you go on to Kansu,
I'd like to finish without being interrupted.
No, because I told you that you could only finish
you know what?
particular question because we need to open it up for everybody to have their say.
Make any verbal attacks upon me, and I'd like a fair chance to respond right now to what he said. I won't be long.
You can definitely respond to Konsu after we've opened up the mic to let everybody have their say, and then we can go back to Konsu.
I have to go through and remember everything everybody says, and then go back to Konsu. That's not a way to moderate.
Well, that's the way I'm moderating. If you don't like it, you know the option is for you to leave.
I'm used to intelligent conversation.
Okay,
this is
now,
Kalam, let me just deal with this before he runs away.
He's gone.
Right. See? No.
Why y'all let him go like that?
See the point?
Oh.
See, that's how that worked, though. If it doesn't go the way the white boy wanted to go, then it's not an intelligent conversation. See, if it doesn't work from the B side, then it's not an intelligent conversation. If he don't accept my definition of some God, then you're absolutely a genetic fallacy. Get the fuck out of here with that foolery. That's why I'm saying it's foolery. It's constant foolery. And you made a perfect point there, Issa. You was absolutely right. How can you come with a paradigm that is anti-African, right? And